beloved friends, Chris here from Merakilight. Thank you for being here today. Today is about opening your senses. That's what today's video is about. It's about opening your senses. Allow yourself to use the eyes of LEMURIAN today, and we got to open our senses for that, divine ones, to relearn how to use our unfamiliar sense of clairsentience, clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairaudience again, with imagination, with desire, intuition, creativity, and balance. Have you ever been in nature and you saw with unfamiliar senses and you felt the oneness, hence the animism, the attribution of a soul to plants and the natural phenomena of the soul and the spirit? This is what we will tap in today, divine ones. You learn how to use the unfamiliar. You learn how to use the familiar senses. Maybe you just don't remember the learning process of it. You learn how to see with your eyes. You learn how to hear and what sounds meant. You learn how to touch, to taste. And your taste changed, as you know. We can be, I love this food, I love strawberries, but also I don't like Brussels sprouts. Then all of a sudden, I like this food, Brussels sprouts. As a kid to an adolescent to an adult, our taste changed. Maybe something you did not like as a child, you liked as an adult. It changes and you learn to touch and taste during this process of growth and expression of who you are. So now let's relearn how to use our unfamiliar senses again today. The sense clairsentience, the ability for a person to acquire psychic knowledge by the means of feeling. Clairvoyance, the definition of clairvoyance is the ability to detect or sense things that are not normally able to be sensed. Claircognizance, the ability for a person to acquire psychic knowledge without knowing how or why or she knew it. And clairaudience, the ability to perceive and understand the sounds that cannot be heard again. Also, let's relearn how to activate and tap in the infinite power of the senses of imagination, desire, intuition, dreaming, and creativity again. One needs to balance all the real common senses to awaken the eyes of a LEMURIAN. There are people who will use their imagination but not their balance, and they end up speaking and spending their life talking to rocks. Sitting in the park seems like they were talking to themselves. Homeless. There are people who get lost and unfamiliar because they don't have balance. So we do not suggest to become an airy-fairy in the meaning of the word. Unbalanced in the living of your life. You live in a rational world, right? You do. And you hold on to a rational job and stuff. And you can't have your business companies knowing you're going to go to the park during the break or lunchtime and talk to trees or fairies or gnomes. Okay, you can go out and hug a tree, right? And there you can hug a tree, but don't do anything more than that. You don't become a tree in the park to see what the weather is like. Crying out loud, what kind of insanity is that, they would say? You're going to pretend to be a tree? What? You're going to check the weather? What? Come on here. What? What? That's insanity. The common denominator is that bridge between the familiar and unfamiliar. And that bridge is the imagination, yes. But also balance, to have wisdom, to be aware of your shadow, to have boundaries, to know what boundaries are, to be responsible as an adult that you are, as the spiritual being that you are, to have a sense of direction, a sense of purpose, a sense of destiny, to have a balance of love, will, to be present, to explore, to be awake, to achieving, to giving, receiving, and being in vision with commitment. And out of this, the balance, a sense of wonder. Look at my wonder! Look at all the wonder all around us. This is where our balance lies. You don't have to have more, but one or several of them that stand out to you. To have imagination and a sense of the balance and the common sense, and then you can bring the unfamiliar back to the familiar, divine ones. Affirmation. I allow myself to use the eyes of LEMURIAN in my life today and open them. So how can we create a reality through our common senses, divine ones? Not the common senses that we may think are common, but the common senses we all universally innately have. That some but not all actually use to feel to create the reality. Conscious energy creates any reality, right? So what are these universal common senses we all have in common, but some of us have forgotten? First, I'd like to look at and discuss the familiar and unfamiliar common senses of a child, an adult, and the common senses that most but not all of us have forgotten. You ever have your mom or dad or grandparents say, hey, go get some common sense already? Well, what is common sense from an adult? And what is it? How is it different from a child's common sense? Let's look at a common sense in an adult. Okay, an adult. Some people have sight, but they are blind people. Some people have hearing, but then they are deaf people. Some people feel in touch, but then there's people who have nerve damage. Some people may have taste buds, but others will not have the ability to taste with those taste buds. So these are the 5 common senses most familiar to everyone, but they're not most common at all. After all, are they? So what are the common senses then? What are the common senses? Write them in the comments below. There's an unfamiliar, uncommon sense we all have, or all use, but forgotten as well. Clairsentience, clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairaudience. And as we agreed from... And as we age from a newborn to an adult, we forgot the common senses a child uses to sense and create the reality. A child senses the light but does not see the light. You see, an infant cannot see that well. Not very clear at first. An infant can also not hear that well at first, or either understand what is being hearing. But the infant also cannot fully understand everything they are feeling either. The nervous system is still forming. These are the common senses a newborn or child as well has. So a newborn does not fully hear their mother, but can sense the voice of their mother. Not by hearing, but by feeling the voice. The child also senses the mother's movement, the sense of movement. Not the movement itself, but the sense of movement. Even if nothing is physically moving, the infant senses the warmth, senses the substance, senses the light, senses the voice of mother in life. Not the actual fact, but the sense. When a child enters this world, all the child does is eat, sleep, dream, etc. Sleeping and dreaming repairs and rebuilds these response systems. This is how an infant learns about the first love. Through an infant's sense of sight, hearing, touch, taste. An infant, as it grows, can sense its surroundings and its mom very clearly. An infant is emotionally, not physically connected to their mom. For example, a newborn baby can sense if the mother truly wanted the baby or not. I'm sure you know what I mean here. I've assisted many people with infant abandonment, denial, rejection, shame. The newborn senses of what their mother is thinking and feeling. If this type of wound happens to a newborn from the lack of love from mom, this child will grow up into their adulthood. They'll go their whole life in relationship to the attitude of gimme, 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 you love, you owe me love. However, this gimme, 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 gimme type of love, more love type of attitude can never be fully filled later on in life. Why? For the lack of love came from the newborn's common sense of sensing their reality, not the adult's 5 basic senses to sensing their reality, divine ones. Trying to fill a void in an adult sense will never work for you. This is a deep inner child healing, and I can assist you with that. Woo! So the common senses for an adult are not so common after all. And the child's common senses fade away as the child grows up into adulthood. Kind of like Peter Pan, right? The parents grew up and forgot about Neverland. Well, Neverland, Lemurian land is all around us. So that if an adult's common senses are different from a child's common senses, then what is the universal common senses that a child and adult both have in common, divine ones? Comments below. What does it really mean to have common sense? Comments below. The common sense we all have is imagination, divine ones. Intuition, dreaming, creativity, and desire. Yes, sure, everyone uses these common senses, but are they consciously using these common senses? When we are conscious, we use these universal common senses, then we fill with power. And these common senses become more powerful tools to create your reality. Indeed, imagination, dreaming, creativity, intuition, desire are tools of creation. Everything around you is created from these common senses tools. Truly creative people have unlocked these universal common senses of imagination, dreaming, intuition, desire. And that means you can too. They are not more talented than you. They're not more special than you. They're not more gifted than you. And you may say, I'm not creative, but yes, you are. You just forgot. All that has happened is that you become weaker in your true innate common sense. You have just shut down your innate common senses, blocked your newborn senses, and now operate in the 5 basic illusionary adult common senses. Sight, sound, touch, taste, and hear. That's no biggie though. You can remedy this. You are now conscious of this, and I can also assist you in awakening these again. Everyone perceives and creates a reality through their common senses. From infant to child to teen to adult, we all use our senses to create a reality around us. So when you open your senses and become one, you can then step into that tree and that sky and that river and that waterfall and a little life springing up inside of you of mother love. Surrender your sense of separateness, divine ones. Separateness is important. It's important to have boundaries and to know your boundaries, but it's also viable to slip beyond them. Surrender your sense of separateness, divine ones. So during this monumental decade, your connection with nature opens your portals to your true work, your calling, a way to connect with the divine, a way to balance, to change, to listen, to the next step forward. When I'm having a hard day, or I've seen lots of clients, I go in nature, rebalance, I relearn, I get insights, I get visions, I get dreams, I get write-ups. Rise into your calling of mother love. Talk to nature. Let nature speak to you. What is nature saying to you right now? Do you hear? Do you hear what is it saying to you? It's not airy-fairy made-up stuff. What is it saying? It's time to re-experience because you can relearn. You can relearn while you listen to nature. The wind blowing through the trees. The ocean shore as waves crash along the shore. The key is to listen between the waves crashing. To listen as the tree pauses before the next wave. To step in this realm and hear the whispers. Listen to the air. Listen to the sun. Listen to the moons. Listen to the fire. Listen to the earth. Listen to the crystals. What are they saying to you? One must redevelop a conscious presence. Conscious presence, exploring, going on an adventure, and touching, tasting, and smelling, and seeing the unknown God. God, it's all around you. It's all around you. When you become conscious of nature, you open an avenue for the unconscious presence to rise into your conscious state. Tap in your rapport with the divine, your true work, your sense of power, and your principles, divine ones. Senses, open them. Your connection with nature, so deep, so thick, so natural, so rich. So many of you have nature as your portal to your true work, your calling, a way to connect with the divine, a way to balance, to change, to charge, to listen for the next step forward. If I have an issue or problem, I go to nature and I get the answer. Imagine if you went there, sensing the light, sensing the voice, singing the song of Mother Earth, just like Mother Orga sings the song of Mother Fra. In the Dark Crystal movie, let this spark speak to you. As you walk with the rhythm of Mother Love's Earth's drum of life and the living of your life, you may say, what does this park know that others do not? They are all connected. Don't you realize they're all connected? They're connected. Trees talk to each other. You scientists know this. When the wind blows, one tree releases chemicals, and other trees pick them up. This is one way the trees communicate, divine ones. There are male trees and female trees, and they have sex. And the wind blows. And the pollination process goes around. There's not sex like you know it, but there's a sex. There's advantages to being human, you know. Imagine how that would be just standing there and you're going to have sex with another person way over there. And you say, was that good for you as it was for me? Yeah, it was wonderful. You want to know what the weather is? Then become a tree blowing in the wind, or listen to a meteorologist, or instead become one with the tree and sense the weather. And you can work with the weather, and you can ask the weather to change for you too when you become one. When you open the senses, other senses, the senses of newborn, your clairsentience, cognizance, voyance, and then transform separateness to unity, a walk in the park in the community of trees in the deep woods, it can be a life-enhancing, mind-bending, sensing experience with much more deeper and profound, more important results than just someone who goes for a walk in the woods with their senses closed off. They may say, yeah, that was a good walk, and that's it. But when you go for a walk in the woods, you're like, oh man, that was amazing. I sensed everything. It was a whole new world. There's the aromas, the sounds, the sights, the colors, the gnomes, the crystals, the fairies, and they were sending me messages and give me downloads, and I got ancient wisdom from the trees when I touched it. As you open your senses, you start to tap in the Earth's Wi-Fi system, the trees, the plants, and the animals, the animal communication system. And as you raise your frequency and vibration, walk in the path of woods and kissing and blessing and loving and hugging and burying crystals under the trees as you go along, they too release the ancient wisdom to you, the pockets of wisdom, the healings to those that tap in the levels of conscious awareness and connect. Woo! As a portal within your sense, open to love. Open to love's embrace, divine ones. Just walking has an impact on you, to your well-being, to your health, to your wellness, to your state of being, in your mind. A walk in nature will balance you, divine ones. It will balance your brain. It will open up new neural pathways. You're supposed to be stuck on fear pathways. Often when we are in trouble or making a decision or talking with our parents, often when we are not sure what to do, just pause and say, I'm going for a walk. I'll give you an answer when I can after my walk. And during your walk, you'll find the answer. And as you go for a walk today in nature, you may not even think about your issue or your problem. Maybe you'll ponder it. Maybe you'll just walk. And as you come back from your walk, you go, wow, I feel better right now. You feel more confident. You feel more centered. You feel you can get through this. Whatever you're facing and dealing with right now in your life, this walk in nature will help and heal you. Woo! Therefore, go for a walk in nature today. Or walk in the woods today, or in the meadow, or the local park. Be fully present. Just walking in the forest, walk in the park. Pay attention to the trees and the rain, the grass, yes, to the stones and the earth. And as the portals within your senses open to love's embrace, just walking has an impact on you, to your well-being, to your health, to your wellness, to your state of being, and your mind, divine ones. You may say, what does this park know that others do not? They are all connected. Connect to nature. Become nature. Reconnect to your source of nature. Your nature will show you your natural evolution like a caterpillar turns a butterfly. Communicate with nature. It will show you how to metamorphosize yourself. Open your senses. Adopt the creek and care for it by cleaning up the trash. And you, divine one, will sense the magic of the families of the woods and the forest creatures that are freely giving to you the wisdom and the healing techniques of the ones who love come to pass. Wow! Syrian love. Now another exercise we suggest, great ones, is that you go sit and try to sense your light. Sense the light. Exercise to learn to sense the light of a tree, a plant, a creek, a crystal, an animal, or the earth, or whatever is form of earth that is to you. All being Mother Earth, sit and be and sense the voice, the sounds of nature, the sounds of sights, of colors, of sights, the sounds of trees, of plants, and animals, not to hear or directly see it, but to sense it as a newborn child senses their mother. Start open that portal of sense again, divine ones, the clairvoyance, cognizance, audience, clairvoyance, to sense like a child sense again. Practice being like a newborn again, not sucking your thumb, not wearing diapers, but the senses again. One sense of mother again. Open this portal within you more fully. Open your senses of safety to colors, sounds. Open your senses once again, divine ones. And you will sense colors and sounds, and you will open yourself up to love's embrace, divine one. Let's imagine and dream together, divine ones. Let us imagine and dream together with a visual exercise today. Imagine you are the forest or at the beach at your favorite time of day or at night. Let yourself be there. Let yourself relax. Let go. And let yourself enter your safe place. And open your senses. Open your senses. The sight, the smell, the touch, the hear. Open your senses. If not with your ears, your mouth, or nose, then with your heart. To sense the sights of color as you gaze into your favorite sunset. In your heart, sense the sounds of color. So delicate, so beautiful, and so safe. In your heart, smell safety. Open your senses to sight, to sound, to taste, and touch of safety. And as you open your sense, and as you open to the safe place, your higher self and your soul and unseen friends will join you. Find yourself there in the most peaceful clearing. In a park, in a forest. Let this park or forest or trees speak to you. As you walk with the rhythm of Mother Earth's drum of life. Sense the trees all around you. Some tall, reaching into the heavens. Others content in the shadowy shade. Others just beginning their journey of life of growth. Creating the thickness, the density of the forest. Broadleaf trees. Starting to bud. Evergreen trees that are evergreen. Shadows that stretch in the morning, midday, afternoon sun. Perhaps the flowers grow. Perhaps a glacier stream flows on by like this waterfall. Perhaps a pool or a pond like down below. Still as glass. Perhaps a felled tree or a boulder or a cluster of plants. Imagine what you will. Pretend. Let all the elements of safety, of peace be around you. Listen to the sounds of safety. Perhaps the call of a distant bird, or the scamper of a squirrel, or simply the creak of an old branch swaying in the breeze, the tumble of water over boulders, or the gentle call, the whisper of the wind. Hear the sounds, smell the smells that accompany safety. Perhaps the gentle fragrance of a cedar or a daffodil, or the hint of jasmine in the air. Perhaps the smell of new mown hay, or the richness of the soil, or the freshness of water. Taste the peace, the serenity, and in the stillness, the majesty, all your senses inundated with safety, with security, with peace. Time can stand still. Let it be so wonderful that the contemplation of staying here forever is such a joy. Also touch, reach out and touch, just pretend. Sinking your fingers in the cool earth. Lean your fingers against the chocolate earth, feeling the wet warmth, so cool. And damp, feeling with the earth between your fingers. Feel the blades of grass. Let each blade of grass pick the palm of your hand, or the hard surface of a rock. Touch the surface. It looks solid, cool. Or your fingers in a pool, just walking around if you like. Touch the prickle of a pine tree, or the soft, delicate touch of leaves. Let yourself touch the safety all around you. And as you touch, and as you smell, and as you hear, and as you see your mind and your heart, and if not, sense this. Sense it so much around you with safety that's almost as though you can taste it. Almost like you can taste the safety that surrounds you, divine ones. Sense the colors and let them take shape. And the terrain, and sense yourself there in a state of peace and oneness with all the sights. And if you cannot see with your eyes, then see with your heart. And let the sounds of safety, the subtle sounds that are ought to be there. Just pretend if you must. Then with the sounds and the gentle smells of trees, the wafted fragrance along the breeze, let yourself smell the smells and hear the sounds and see the sights, not with your eyes and ears or nose, and with your heart. Open the senses that you're all one. You're all connected. And those trees and those skies and that ocean is you. A part of you, not all of you, but a part of you. Sense the portals within yourself. Sense yourself and open to love's embrace. Now let's imagine your etheric and meridian lines are attached to the ley lines of Mother Earth, and visualize an exchange of wisdom and life force energy taking place between the both of you. The ancestors before you, who are the trees, the rocks, the creek, the birds, the bears, are all communicating to you now, healing you now, downloading you now with ancient knowledge, and assisting all those who wish to protect Mother Gaia's Earthship during this ascension period, the golden age. The ascension, the second coming. The gnomes will also carry the message to you, the soft wind, carrying the pollen of the wisdom to those that are ready to receive. Talk to nature. Let nature speak to you. What is nature saying to you, divine ones? You have the innate ability to visualize and construct with your senses the reality that you desire. Your light is brighter than you can see with the common five senses, divine ones. Take a look with your psychic senses. Listen to the colors of your aura, and you might hear your own light. Everything you are is accumulation of everything you learn lifetime after lifetime. You can still access this wisdom. At any time by reopening your unfamiliar senses. So be it to that. Yes to life. Yes to you. This is Chris Parr. Searing Lemurian love. Open your senses!